Hey, and welcome to this week's video where we are talking about how to get better results with your social media content. So this video is inspired by a Gary Vee quote, which is social media is a gateway drug. And it's something that I'm covering this week over on my Instagram account. So if you're not following me, go over there and check it out. But that's really the inspiration for where this video came from. So what we're going to cover in this video today are some of the common problems I've seen over the years that creators have with social media. And then we're going to look quickly at the implications of those problems, because problems don't exist in isolation, they have knock-on effects, right? And then we're going to look at the shift in framing that we need to make to create better social media content, get better results. And then we're going to look at some examples of some awesome practice, some great work on social media. And then look at the 3 simple steps to better quality social media content. So let's dive in. Some of the common problems that creators have that I've experienced. I've run an agency for about 9 years. I've worked in marketing since before, YouTube was a thing, but since before social media was really a thing. So I've had the opportunity to speak to lots of people over the years about common issues that they tend to have. And many people that I've spoken to struggle for quality ideas for content. That's a big problem for a lot of people. They just don't know what to post. They want to post consistently, but they don't know what to post. And because they don't know what to post, they don't publish consistently. And inconsistent publishing is another common issue that I've come across. Because people aren't publishing consistently or quality, helpful ideas, their account gets slow or no growth at all. And really the content just tends to be random, irrelevant, or just reactive to stuff that's going on without any real kind of deliberate efforts or direction behind it. So in terms of the implication of these ideas, content tends not to demonstrate people's knowledge or quality, which is a problem, because the audience won't notice you and you're just going to be noise, basically. We don't want that. And it's a missed opportunity to bring something, to mean something to your audience and really plant the seeds of building a relationship, your brand or reputation. So these are things that that are implications that we want to get rid of, that we want to solve for. Now, these kind of results, these kind of implications have led people to think that social media doesn't work for them. I've heard people say social media doesn't work. I've heard people say marketing doesn't work. And obviously, clearly, it's not true. You just need a better approach. In 99.9% of the situations, you just need a better approach. And the foundation of this different, better approach is in our framing of what social media could be. Framing is just the context that we put around it, or the perspective, the way that we look at this thing called social media. Yeah. So, like we said at the start, inspired by this Gary Vee quote, social media is a gateway drug. Okay, that's what Gary Vee's famous for saying. And really, what he means by that is that it's a route to our brand. Social media, it's often the first point of contact that people will have with our brand. So it's a direct route to us. And if we frame it in this way, we can make our social media content an expression of the larger, the greater value that we provide when people pay for our products or services. We can effectively make our social media content a tasty little morsel, if you will, of the impact that we can make, the change that we can make for our audience. And it's an opportunity for us to be a signal amongst the noise. So the way that Gary Vee talks about it is that if you're putting stuff out, loads of content out, and people are really enjoying it, really loving it, what they're going to be thinking is, wow, with content that's free and is this good, what's the paid for stuff like? It's a gateway drug, as he refers to it. So what we have to remember is that top of the funnel, which is where social media content often is, we're going to be strangers. Our brand, which is this red dot here, we're often going to be strangers to our audience, and there's going to be a vacuum in between, right? The good thing about social media is that it can fill that vacuum. It's a route from our audience to our brand. It's a channel that we can utilize. And if we do so intelligently, it can act as a gateway to the rest of our brand. So our audience is typically going to be on social media. It's quite rare that they're not going to be, but generally speaking, your audience are going to be on some form of social media. So it makes sense for you to be in the same place, right? And it's not just about being in the same place. I mean, take this rectangle here as a time frame, any given time frame. If you're just going to be posting once, then you're not giving people the opportunity to come across you. You have to be posting a critical mass of content, good quality content that acts as a gateway to the rest of the value that you bring. And then, because if you're just doing this, it's likely that you're going to get missed. Social media moves quickly. If you're doing this, then you've just increased your chances of being seen and earning that attention with good quality social media content. So I know we've talked mainly theoretically so far about social media being a gateway to value. Let's have a look at a few different examples. I've pulled up 4 different examples of accounts that I really, really like. 3 of the 4 are on Instagram. It's not a bias towards Instagram. I'm not saying that Instagram is the best channel. It's just these people are using it very, very well. And if I'd had more time, I probably would have brought up other examples. LinkedIn, it doesn't matter about the channel. If your audience is there and you're putting quality content for it, that's what's important. Okay, so we'll start off with The Economist. The Economist use social media really, really well. Keep in mind that concept of our social media content being a gateway to the rest of the value that we provide when people pay us, yeah? So what they do with their social media content, they have basically little tidbits of really quality writing that get people interested in the things that they cover, the topics that they cover, the quality that they provide. And what they do also with their stories is provide lots of prompts for people to visit their website. So you see, it's a gateway to the rest of the quality that they provide. Once people are here, you can subscribe, you can read, more in-depth content, etc. So that's a really good example of content as a gateway drug. Because what you're going to have, they've got 5 million followers. They're obviously doing something well. They're creating content that's a representation of the larger value that they provide. Let's look at this person here, Samantha Hardardi. Someone I know very well. She's actually my partner. She has followers over 40,000 followers. She's cultivated that all by hand, all by herself, and created a really great community around her food. She's a creative recipe creator, photographer, and what she does, 90% of her feed are recipes that she's created, which are plant-based, which she knows her community will love. She doesn't just create recipes and take photos of them. She actually gives the recipes away for free. And what happens is brands come across this, they see what she can do, and then they hire her to create recipes for them. So this content here is free expressions of the value that she can provide brands with. That's what she's using her Instagram feed for. And it's just a really good model. She's built her own business just by doing this, by creating free expressions. They're free to use of the greater value that she can bring. And her community love it. I mean, she gets so much engagement over everything that she does, and it builds trust, it builds her authority, and it builds her reputation, and brands notice this and they hire her. Let's look at Nike. What kind of value can they provide given that they sell sportswear? Well, what are Nike all about? They're all about this, just do it. And what they want to do is bring inspiration to athletes around the world. So what does their social content consist of? Inspiration. They want people to get a taster of the spirit of the brand. They want people to feel good, to feel motivated, to feel inspired. So that is what the content they create is all about. It's free expressions of the greater value that they provide. Let's look at Joe Wicks, the body coach. I've followed Joe for years on social media since he had just a few thousand followers, and he's doing pretty well. And what Joe's really good at, he started with a content series called Lean in 15. And these were free recipes that he just gave away for people to get good nutrition, to lose weight. He does free workouts on his YouTube channel. When you buy in to Joe, if you buy one of his programs, it's a personalized nutrition plan, exercise plan to help you get into shape. But his content tends to be, in the majority of cases, free expressions of the value that you can buy. Yeah, it gets people on board. It creates that trust. It creates authority. It creates that relationship. So is this showing what you can do whilst giving value, and so is this showing what you can do whilst giving value, showing the impact of what your products can make, how they can make you feel whilst giving value. So this is what we must do as well. So now we're going to go over the 3 simple steps that you can take to start making better quality social content that's going to act as a gateway to the rest of the value that you provide with your products and services. We're going to go through these steps, and then we're going to look at a quick example that I've quickly put together for you. So first of all, what you need to do is look at your brand and write down the main themes and topics that you cover, and write down one theme. Then what you want to do is break that theme up into content ideas that are bite-sized nuggets of the value that you can bring. And then what you want to do once you've done that is schedule out that content over a period of 1, 2, 4 weeks, whatever, however long it's going to last. If you're going to do a content series, I'd have it last at least a week. So let's use the example of a yoga instructor. Let's pretend that you are a yoga instructor. How is this going to work? Well, the main themes that perhaps we cover in our service are flexibility, breath work, injury recovery, right? Nutrition, cold exposure, and meditation. They're all the things that we can cater for if people buy a package from us, right? So what we want to do is take one of those, cold exposure, and then break that down into literal content ideas. So what is cold exposure? The benefits of cold exposure. How cold exposure helps with injury recovery, and how someone could get started with cold exposure. These are all titles of blogs, of videos, of podcast episodes, whatever. And you just see how you can go from what you do to content idea in just those steps, right? The benefit of this is that you get to show your expertise, to start building that relationship whilst giving value. It's a value-led, a value-first approach, and that's super, super important at the top of the funnel, where we're looking to earn attention and we're looking to build relationships with people. So a good idea to get more from your content is something that I use. You'll notice that the themes of this video that I'm making now is in line with the rest of the stuff I've done on Instagram this week. You can create something long form. So you could create, if you're a yoga instructor, a video, a 15-minute YouTube video on the benefits of cold exposure. Pop it on YouTube, take the audio, make it a podcast episode as well, and then break that content down into bite-sized chunks of content that are suitable for the platforms wherever your audience are. I'm not suggesting that you cover all of them, only go where your audience are. And then this is going to help with ideation, it's going to help with being consistent, and it's going to help with giving value, giving content that provides value that's in line with the greater value that you can provide. So what we've covered in this video today, we've looked at the common problems that creators have with social media. We've looked at the implication of the problems, and then we've really looked at shifting the framing that we need to make better quality content. And that shift is going from where we're just posting stuff that's random or reactionary to being more deliberate and creating content that's a gateway to the rest of the value that we provide. That's a gateway, a pathway to our brand, and we do that by being value-led, value first. We've seen some great examples of practice on social media, and we've looked at 3 simple steps to better quality social content. So I hope that this has helped. Look at the way that you're looking at your social media and make that shift in framing, and then ask yourself, how can you create content that's in line with that value that's going to appeal to your target audience? If you've got any questions, hit me up below or get me on Instagram at apricot amir, and thanks very much for watching.